In this video, we'll be talking about finding any possible horizontal asymptotes. And we'll just do this algebraically without showing a graph. Well, a horizontal asymptote, you can also think of it as left and right end behavior. So what would happen if you threw in a very large number in for x? Now, infinity is not a number. It's just a concept, but just to make a point, I will put in infinity for x. Well, 4 to the infinity, so way on the right. I will draw a graph here. So way on the right, what happens as x grows without bound? Well, y just keeps on growing, so y would go to infinity. So we don't have a horizontal asymptote in this one. But what if we go to the left? What if we have y equals 4 to the negative infinity? We'll put in negative infinity in for x. Well, that's like y equals 1 over 4 to the infinity by properties of negative exponents. Well, 1 over a very large number, that means the whole thing then would just go to 0. So y equals 0. And that is the horizontal asymptote, the one horizontal asymptote that we have for this equation. On this other example, we have y equals 2 plus e to the negative x. Again, let's try that. On the right-hand side, or as x keeps on growing, we have 2 plus e to the negative is already in there, to the negative, I'll just color code this, negative infinity. I'm putting in positive infinity in for x, but the negative was already in the equation. So that's like 2 plus 1 over e to the positive infinity, and this whole part, this whole term goes to 0 because it's 1 over a very large number. 2 plus 0 is just 2, so y equals 2 is one of the horizontal asymptotes, or the horizontal asymptote for this equation, the graph of this equation. If we were to plug in negative infinity, we would have y equals 2 plus e to the negative of negative infinity. Remember, the negative was already in the equation, and we are saying the opposite then of we're plugging in negative infinity. Well, negative times a negative is a positive, so that is 2 plus e to the infinity. Well, this just keeps on growing. So we don't have a horizontal asymptote on the right-hand side, or on the left-hand side, so as x goes to the left without bound. I hope that helps.